Peace, family. This is Lions Den with the news and commentary. Before I get started, I want to send a shout out to CS Silk 13 on Reaction, because you want to send a shout out. There you go. Send a shout out to you. Now, this video is striking. Let me say, I'm gonna give a shout out to Lisa Cabrera, who's my colleague there. And she's the first person that brought this up about what's going on and why our own government, why the U.S. government is involved in secret operations in the continent of Africa. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Press TV video here, and I'm going to give you the rest of my commentary.
Now to a topic that is rarely covered by mainstream media. The United States doesn't want the world to know this. It's supposed to be a secret. Even the Pentagon has denied it, but America has been involved in special operations in several African countries like Somalia, Kenya, and Niger. The obvious question is, what is the U.S. up to in those countries?
A new revelation shows the U.S. military is secretly playing a more direct role in operations against what's been described as suspected terrorists in Africa. Reports say the U.S. Special Operations teams, under a set of classified programs, have a strong participation in combat raids by African troops in multiple countries. They include Somalia, Kenya, Tunisia, and Niger. The Pentagon has so far failed to acknowledge this, but it appears that the secret Africa involvement program started during the tenure of former U.S. President Barack Obama and has been continuing until today. There are now concerns that the involvement of American special forces in African countries would undermine their sovereignty.
Well, first of all, they don't want the American public to know about it. And in fact, they don't even want the American Congress to know about it. There was an American soldier that was killed, I think, in the Congo, maybe about a month ago. And it was a shock to the congressman that the United States had combat troops on the ground in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The United States have soldiers it's over 100 countries.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. The guy has it wrong. It's not the Republic of Congo. I know it happened a month ago that a black U.S. soldier was killed in the country of Niger, not the Republic of Congo. But I'm going to go ahead and continue with this video.
Around the world, so it's really staggering. Some are symbolic, or helping the economies, but a lot of them are actually propping up dictators and corrupt, ruthless regimes.
The Secret Africa program, which is carried out under a legal authority known as Section 127E, follows years of strong presence by the U.S. military in Afghanistan and Iraq. Based on it, the African governments essentially loan out units of their militaries for American commando teams to use as surrogates to hunt militants. Supporters of the program say having Americans plan and retain operational control of Africa missions gives them greater ability to strike quickly against threats, but they never reveal the true nature of the missions to critics in the U.S. and abroad.
And the U.S. Africa program is supposed to be secret in nature. As I said, it involves direct combat raids in which the United States military basically fights alongside the army of that country. Now, what is wrong with that? Just think about it. The United States can not only influence the army in its mission, but it can then penetrate the country's military to the point that the respective country could lose its military independence.
The revelations about the U.S. military's secret involvement in Africa follow reports of growing American casualties in the continent, and this has already made the Pentagon scramble to explain what its fallen commandos had been doing in African countries like Niger many Americans have never heard of. But the full nature of the missions the commandos were involved in still remain unclear for unknown reasons.
Now, Africa it's a treasure trove of minerals and raw materials and stuff, and it's a great prize. The Americans seem to be focusing more on Africa. They realize that they're not going to get away with their game plan for Syria and even Iraq. But there's 6,000 troops in Libya, for example, guarding a pipeline. The Americans weren't actually involved in the attack on Libya, but their allies, the British, the French, and the Italians were. But as soon as Gaddafi was more or less murdered, they sent troops in to guard the pipeline in Libya. So you have troops that are on the ground, special operations forces, and SEAL teams that are operating, and we may never hear of them, but they are intervening for whatever reasons, and that usually is for geopolitical reasons with the United States government and its allies in the multinational corporation community.
There have already been speculations that the world's biggest army is trying to seek influence in other countries. But what many want to know is the reason why the Pentagon is focused on Africa at the present time. And with that, it is essentially believed that exploiting the natural resources of target countries is essentially the primary objective.
Okay, before I start my commentary, I'd like to give a shout out to Lisa Cabrera for brought this story into her platform on YouTube, and also I would like to give a shout out to Press TV for covering this story. Now, a lot of people were kind of confused and don't understand why that our government is involved in Africa. Now, we've been hearing like what I told you before when the guy said that one soldier was killed in the Republic of Congo. That's not true. I guess he was stating there about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, about a month ago, a couple of months ago actually, that they was in Niger and they was under attack by ISIS fighters, and one of the soldiers were killed. Keep in mind, to this day, we really don't know why our soldiers were even in Nigeria in the first place. It kept it, let's just say what the word they were looking for, classified. Yeah, classified. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I'm not surprised of what they're doing. I think basically in Africa, you notice that some countries still got diamonds, still got sapphires and rubies and copper, all the expensive things. You see why now the Chinese was involved in this, and the Europeans still in that continent of part of Africa because of that. And so you have a lot of stuff that's going on that we don't know about, that we're not being told about. The U.S. media didn't even know about. Even the Pentagon themselves didn't even know why they were even over there. That's news to them. So obviously, ladies and gentlemen, what we're seeing is that we have U.S. combat operations in countries of Africa like Somalia, Niger, the Congo, places like that. And we don't know nothing about it. We don't even know why they were over there. And I think people still don't know why that soldier was killed in Nigeria. People still don't know why. Some reports that they wasn't even equipped. It wasn't even prepared for an ambush. And obviously, again, one soldier was killed. So now you got a lot of combat operations, around the continent of Africa, and we still to this day don't know why. There's been speculating is because of they're trying to get ISIS fighters or Al Qaeda fighters in Africa. There's reports that they're there because they know Africa got a lot of rich minerals that they're interested in. And you heard what they said about Libya, and they saying that they protected the pipeline in Libya. The pipeline, I guess our government is interested in for some reason. So it looks to me, ladies and gentlemen, that I believe the real reason why that our government didn't even posted this to the mainstream media was because they know they're going to have backlash, and having a backlash on why our soldiers were even in Africa in the first place, and they don't want that out in the mainstream media, and that's possibly the reason why, I guess, they kept it a secret mission. So leave me a comment, tell me what you think about this story, share this video, subscribe my YouTube channel, subscribe my reaction channel, and subscribe my Black Johnson channel for any news and commentary. But with that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.